Hey there. Do you know what the three hardest words to say to your wife is? It's not I love you. It's I am sorry. And being able to say those words is actually a superpower. I'm Leslie Dories, the creator of the Hero Husband Project and owner of Foundations Coaching. And if you'll just stick with me for the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you why being willing to say those three little words is so important. But, if you're already relating to this and, you'd like to set up a conversation about it, then just put a comment down in the comments below. That's where you put the comment, and we'll talk about it. So what I really like to do when I talk about apologies is I like to share something that happened with my client, Gary. Now, I've been working with him for a while, and he really wants his marriage to work, and he really loves his family. But he and his wife have been having this go round about moving, and they had another conversation slash disagreement slash argument, which happens all the time. And she just got really upset, and she accused him of not listening to her, and she got up and walked out of the room, and they didn't talk for the rest of the night. So he calls me and goes, Leslie, what do I do? What do I do? And I said, okay, Gary, I'm going to tell you how to go back and try to have this conversation, because they're really trying to resolve this issue, right? Of do they move? Do they not move? And I said to him, you're not going to like what I have to say. And he goes, okay, what is it? And I said, the first thing you need to do to start the conversation is to tell her that you're sorry. And he goes, what? I'm going, I know. And he says, why am I always the one who has to be the one to tell her I'm sorry? And I said, what do you want? I said, do you want to be able to resolve this issue? He said, yes. I said, okay, so let me tell you, starting with an apology, acknowledging the fact that she didn't feel heard is the way to open the door. So he goes away, and 2 days later, I get a text from him. He goes, you know what? You were right. He said that he did approach her with an apology and about how sorry he was that she didn't feel heard. And he also acknowledged that, the thing that she didn't feel heard about really was that he wants to move closer to his parents. And what she didn't feel heard about was that, she felt that he was choosing his family over her, which is a very common thing in marriage. And, and no matter what he said during the initial conversation, that's all she heard. So he really apologized for her not feeling heard, and also sharing with her how difficult this situation is, because he actually does feel very torn, but he was very apologetic. He says, I'm so sorry that it's being seen as my choosing my parents over you. And that was the entry into what he described as a really tough conversation, because he actually did feel a little beat up about it. But he used all his skills, and he stayed present, and he listened. And even though the conversation still isn't resolved, it's on a completely different level than before. And so he texted me, and he basically said, he goes, Leslie, thanks for the kick in the butt that I needed. Because this conversation was hard. And he also felt like he deserved an apology, because she had said some things to him that weren't great. And we can get caught up in that. And we do. But it keeps you from getting the result that you want. And when you refuse to take ownership of the stuff that you've done, regardless of what your partner's doing, then it just perpetuates it. But when you step up and be able to say, you know what, I'm sorry for my part in it, and not just be general, but be very specific about what your behavior was that was problematic, you actually will then open the door to be able to resolve whatever the issue is. And one of the things that you're going to resolve is the hurt feelings that your partner feels. Now again, Gary was absolutely correct that it wasn't all just on him. But the thing I like about working with Gary is that he's willing to step up. He's willing to take on what he needs to do, regardless of what his wife is doing, right? And being able to say, I'm sorry, doesn't mean that he can't ask for an apology or that he doesn't deserve one, but he's actually, Gary's actually leading by example, because it's so much easier. I mean, think about it. If somebody tells you, you know what, I'm really sorry for saying or doing this, and you were part of it, it makes it a lot easier for then you to say, you know what, honey, I'm really sorry too. Okay. And so again, that's one of the reasons why I like doing this work. I like working with my clients. I like working with Gary because he has this goal and he's willing to take steps towards it, even if it's uncomfortable. And even though his initial reaction was, why should I apologize? But he actually then saw the power and the way it changed the way that he and his wife interacted. So if this sounds like something that you would like to learn how to do, that you see the value in, maybe you relate to Gary's reaction to his wife, well, this is really what I do. So I encourage you to just put a comment down below, get in touch with me, or you can send me an email at leslie@foundationscoachingnc.com. That's FOUNDATIONS, coaching, N as in Nancy, C as in Charlie.com, and O, it's LESLI. Or put a comment down below or send me a direct message, and we'll have a chat about how you can use some of these skills to get to the answers and get to the relationship that you really want to have. So until next week, stay loving.